Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Car.Ross Sr. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. You know, I like to always give a shout out to everybody out there listening all over the world. I'd like to start off right here in North Carolina. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to the Ross Cloud Podcast. Shout out to Brussels, Belgium. Thank you so much for tuning in our international space. I want to make sure we give a shout out to Brittany Griner. Let's continue to keep that sister in prayer as she goes through this trial that she has coming up real soon. And let's just keep her in prayer, that her sanity stays, her mind stays clear. Let's pray for her loved ones as she goes through the situation that's happening over in Russia. We miss you, Brittany Griner, over here in the States. We're rooting for you. And we look forward to you coming home. And to everyone else that's listening, thank you guys again. I want to say what's up to my co-host here today, Miss Candi, T.Jeter. What's happening?
Hey, glad to be here.
I know, right?
How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. What about you?
I'm better now.
Right on. That's a good thing. We wanted this space to be that way. When you come in, it's kind of like, it's a relaxing space. You can have a conversation and then feel good when you leave,
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
So listen, today, myself and Candi, we came up with a great idea today to kind of piggyback off of some of the things that we've already talked about. But this is one that we both agreed that would be pretty good, and it's 17 lessons love has taught us. Love is love is something else,
It is.
Really, love makes the world go round, At least it should.
It should, if you have the courage to let love do what it actually inspires one to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, you can't really have love without courage. Yeah, love without courage is just an idea. It's just a fantasy.
Oh, I like that. That. You're right. It takes some of us a little longer to understand what love is too. It's work. Love is. If I had to say what love is, of course, it's unconditional. Can love make a fool out of you too?
Well, I think...
Can it make you look like a fool on the surface? If you were an outsider looking in and be like, man, I wouldn't put up with that. But if that person is going through it on the inside, we don't know why they love them. Or, maybe not even from a relationship standpoint, just in general.
Yeah.
Is it easy for us to really love?
I think we got to get, we have to separate, and I talk about this in my Letting Go book, but I think we have to separate love from addiction. I think addiction can make a fool out of you, but real love, I don't think that makes a fool out of you, but we get the two mixed up.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Real love doesn't get in the way of the overall well-being of both parties, whereas addiction and codependency does.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that codependency before we get into the 17 lessons love has taught us? Can you get into that a little bit?
Well, codependency is, I need you to do this so that I can do that. Love is it just is. Right? So codependency is, I need you to feed me something in order for me to do what I need to do. So if I am having a hard time just loving, I need you to actually make me feel a particular way in order for me to be loving. And if you fail to make me feel this particular way, then I'm not able to be loving. And so I'm codependent on you to make me do something that should actually come from a well within me. And you should be doing things that comes from a well within you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a greatly said. Greatly said. And I wonder if some of us as humans, if we even have the capacity at all to even love that way, unconditionally, like, without conditions, basically. If it's conditional, then it's going to be a hard way to go.
Yeah.
But if it's unconditional, then it can be done, so.
I think what comes to mind, too, is, and I was talking to a friend of mine, when you hear certain couples say that they did not allow anything to come in between them.
Yeah.
That requires that.
Yeah.
Which means that whatever happens, we're in it. Now, sometimes people on the outside will look inside and say, okay, that's stupid. You're making a fool of yourself. You're this, you're that.
Yes.
But as we get into the lessons, we'll see that everything comes around full circle.
Absolutely.
What looks stupid in 1980 makes sense in 2022.
Right.
And if you're together, say in 88, and everything is looking stupid and crazy, and you stick with it, and everybody tends to grow through it, in 2022, you have a story to tell of when you are reaping your harvest.
I love it.
I
love it. And I like that key word you use, growth. We have to grow.
Yeah.
We have to grow to it and get better. Because I'm sure in any relationship, there has to be, we have to allow each other to grow too. But is there a time frame on that growth? If you say you really love a person, and how much do you put up with? I mean, we could stay here a long time because love requires some patience.
It does.
Kindness, some long suffering.
Yeah.
Especially through some things that typically you wouldn't go through. Now, I don't think nobody should be getting abused in any, in that way. That's not love. That's just what it is. It's abuse.
Exactly.
That's harm being caused. But, how long do you wait for a person to grow? I know some people probably can't tolerate, like, man, I've been with you for such and such years, and you still may not be at a certain financial stable in your finances in a certain way.
Yeah.
Some people would stay, and then there are others that's like, look, I'm trying to have something. I want us to grow together, not just from the standpoint of communication and everything else, but man, I need you to grow here financially so we can get to a place. So from your perspective, how long? Or as long, or is that personal? I guess that's a personal.
It's like that's like the salvation question. You're
right.
It just depends on the couple, and it depends on how committed they are to getting to the other side.
Yeah. That key word commitment too is another thing.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult for some of us to commit, but commitment is that's a huge part of it. Are you willing to commit and go through whatever it is you got to go through?
Yeah.
We see couples go that have 33 years and 35 years, 40 years, 50 years, but we never get a chance to see, what they really went through to get those 50 years. it's always a story in there somewhere that says, hey, we went through this. And yes, it was very uneasy. Yes, I did sleep in a separate room from my wife maybe a couple of months or a year, 2 years maybe. We slept in 2 separate rooms. No, we didn't. There were times where we didn't have sex. So that's something that you said those 2 words, and you said growth and you said commitment. And sometimes, not for everybody, but for some folks, that's a hard thing. Some people just don't want to grow. It's easier to stay the same,
Yeah.
But growth and change is necessary, for you to get a better outcome out of life, I feel like, at some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
I was thinking about whenever you are recovering from addiction and they tell you to get a plant first and then an animal and then and then a person to have a relationship with.
Yeah.
Now, I've had animals, which I have, and I have been married and have had long-term relationships.
Yeah.
But one thing I have not mastered is growing a plant, right? And Tanya always tells me, don't come near my plants because you kill plants.
Oh,
right?
my God.
And so I
God.
thought about it. When you grow a plant, sometimes that plant looks dead.
Yes.
And I've been mad at my plants before because I get a plant and I'm looking at it. I'm bringing it in from the store. It looks great.
Yeah.
And I'm doing everything that it says to do to the plant.
Yeah.
But I am also wanting it to look better and show improvement.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, I get mad.
Well, to your point, what Tanya was saying, we plant lovers, and I got a ton of plants in my house. So, in your defense, my mother is a plant grower. Our family, and they love gardening and planting fruits and vegetables. So we come from that.
It's a spiritual thing to that.
It's so spiritual. I have watched. It's important that the oxygen levels are straight. You get good soil, and it's all about talking to. My wife will tell you, I talk to my plants.
She does too.
Yeah, I touch them, and I raise my hand to them. Good morning, babies. It may sound weird, but they're living. They are alive, and so when it comes to now, see, I'm the direct opposite. I'm not good with pets. I'm not good with pets. Although I've had 2 pets in my life, but this was in a previous relationship. But I'm not a person that has the patience to train a dog.
Okay.
I would rather take them to somebody and let them train them.
All right.
And then all I have to do is, make sure they go to the vet, and make sure they eat. Dog, take them outside, let them run around, depending on the breed of the dog, of course, more exercise, that they need. But you should give your dog some exercise and take them walking, what I'm saying, so you can get out and enjoy the air. So, but plants, oh, man.
Wow.
Like
I'm working on that.
Yeah, I have a plant right now, not to get off subject, but I have a plant right now that I have that has just grown. If you look over on our wine rack, it looks like a wilderness over there.
Wow.
Because I have nurtured and talked to this plant. And when I first got it, it had like a couple of, but now it's going up all through the wine rack.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
So, and my wife buys me plants because she knows that, and they're good for the air. They take out the toxins and the in the air. So but it is a spiritual thing with plants.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of patience. You may have to change the pot. You may have to get better soil. You may have to do a little research, on your plants to make sure that plant grows. I have an anthrum. In the house, and for the longest, it wouldn't yield any buds. The red buds that grow at the top of them,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No,
so
I'm learning.
So they have these beautiful red buds that come over the top of them.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest, I couldn't get them to begin to bud. I just kept reading. And finally, I had it liked where it was, but then I had to move it. So it sits directly on the kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
So I stuck it right in the middle of the kitchen table. And then, and you can't drown them. I use ice cubes. I use cold ice cubes to feed the plant. So I take about 13 to 14 ice cubes, and then I take just a smidget of water and water it directly in the middle of the anthem so it can get directly into the roots, because the rest of it is going to slowly but surely feed it throughout.
Okay.
The ice keeps it warm and cool, because when you touch it, the limbs are, the buds and the leaves on the plant are very cool and cold.
Okay.
And I take a cloth and I wipe the dust off of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process. It really is a spiritual.
Yeah, I don't do any of those.
And then I open up the blinds, because they don't need a lot of light. Mm-hmm. All of those plants that I have in there, they just need just a little bit of, regular sunlight. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get something to go in here real soon. But, so it takes some patience. It takes a lot of love and care, talking to, touching and feeling on the leaves. I get up in the middle of the night sometimes and just graze my hands across the leaves. Don't say anything, just graze them. Because when you think about it, in the way that God has created the earth, first of all, it rotates, so it's moving. Mm-hmm. The clouds move. Everything is moving. Everything works together. Mm-hmm. And so when the wind blows, it blows in the trees.
Right.
So quite naturally,
they're getting touched. Yeah.
And you hear people say that's God touching the tops of the limbs, through the wind and everything. So if God is in us, and we were created in His image and His likeness, we have the power to do the same thing when it comes to those plants, so to whatever it is that you're touching. Mm-hmm. And trust me, it's not easy to manage a lot of things in life. Mm-hmm. I must say, at 51 years old, I'm still learning to manage and be a good steward over certain things. Now, I'm better at some things, and some things I might have missed. But I think that's life. And we continue to grow, and we get better, and we work on them, and we push to get better every day without diminishing our value, though.
Right.
As a human, as a person, as a just period. You don't want to diminish your value.
Right.
So yeah, that's my take on the plants.
Well, thank you for that. I think I'm gonna go buy another plant and try
and just
again.
give it a shot.
I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah, keep trying.
Yeah, because I've almost thrown a plant away because I thought it was dead. And this is again how we do relationships. You think it's dead.
Wow.
I thought it was dead because it just wasn't responding, wasn't doing anything. And I looked at it and I was like, what do you want? What is it?
Oh, man.
And Tanya was like, don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
But I had already tried all the other stuff and it wasn't responding, but it could read my heart. It already knew that I was mad at it, right?
Yes.
And so I gave it to one of my girlfriends and I said, here, do whatever you can with it.
Yeah.
And it did not respond for a long time.
Wow.
And she kept it for about 6 months and it started responding. She never gave up on it.
Yeah.
So that is what I learned about love through plants.
Absolutely.
Even if it looks dead. Keep watering it.
Yes.
Keep talking to it.
Yes.
Keep touching it.
Yes.
And you got to really sincerely want it to flourish in your heart and not be codependent. I had become codependent on that plant because I looked at the plant's progress as a direct hit to my confidence, right?
Yeah.
And that plant was just going through whatever it was going through, but I was like, you ain't acting right. I need you to act right so I can feel like I have mastered plantry, whatever you call it. So
I love it.
I was frustrated.
Yeah.
I was frustrated, but you've just encouraged me once again to try again.
Absolutely. So, metaphorically, I like the way you broke that down, even just in your explaining how you didn't give up on the plan. And so we ask ourselves on the daily, even myself, how many folks have I given up on? How many folks have given up on me and just threw me off to the side and said, the hell with it. I can't do this anymore. And really and truthfully, that's not love. And, so as humans, sometimes it's difficult for us to love the unlovable. It's a job, Candi. And then we question ourselves, where am I at when it comes to love? So, man, we could stay here all day long. I love having these type of conversations because, number one, they're human conversations that, that affects us all, at some point in our life, And so I'm going to go down here, and these are 17 lessons love has taught us. And you can find this, for those of you guys that are listening, you can find this at lifehack.org. That's lifehack.org. And this is 17 lessons love has taught us. And, of course, this is not mine, so I want to make sure I give a shout-out to Dr. Carol Morgan. She's the owner of hisside.com.
I like that.
So you can go and check out that website. So shout out to Dr. Carol Morgan for these 17 lessons love has taught us. Because, again, we don't know it all. So there are resources out there to help us just become better. Whether you agree with them or not, the information is there for us to get better. So here's number one. Love means letting go of expectations. And I'll read the first sentence, and then you can just, from your perspective. And again, you guys can go to lifehack.org and read a lot of this. For the sake of time, we're just going to go through these, quickly read the first sentence, and then we both are going to give our perspective. And I'm going to always let our co-hosts go first, ladies first. So here's this. Love means letting go of expectations. Sure, we all want people to behave the way we want them to, just as you stated a few minutes ago when you metaphorically, I want this plant to grow. Damn it, you better grow, right?
Exactly.
So we want them to be more affectionate or more outgoing or smarter or more ambitious. So we'll stop there. Love means letting go of expectations. And I'd like to hear you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that, if you could.
Yeah, I mean, expectations really can kill because, with throwing in the towel when you don't see what you think you should see, when what you thought you saw was already there from the very beginning, right?
True.
But just because you go and progress along in the relationship, you think that's supposed to magically change.
Yeah.
So I'll go even further to say letting go of unrealistic expectations as well, because is that realistic from what you saw in the beginning?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you really see that standard in that person, or was were you reading into what you actually wanted it to be? Were you really real with yourself? Sometimes we project our own lack of expectations we have for ourselves onto other people because we want other people to do the work we should be doing.
Absolutely. I love that. And with those with those expectations, that I love what you said a few minutes ago. We need to let go of some of them expectations.
Yeah.
But, we got to be honest, too, with our partner, too, though. And we need to come into the relationship being who we say we are in the beginning. If you smoke weed, then your partner should know that before you get in. If you smoke cigars or cigarettes or whatever it is, you shouldn't be hiding that from them. So now they have an expectation of you to be a certain way. and then behind their back, you're doing something totally different.
Right.
So I love that. So we're gonna keep it moving. I don't really have much to say about that. I think you said enough right there. That was good. So number 2, love doesn't play the victim, the victim role or blame others.
Ooh.
So here's what Carol has to say. Dr. Carol Morgan has to say about this. So love doesn't play the victim role or blame others. Love doesn't think others are out to get them. Love doesn't think their loved ones are wrong. Love works together. Teamwork. It takes responsibility and a lot of forgiveness. So we'll stop right there. It's kind of self-explanatory. She does a great job of kind of explaining this. But again, we have our own minds. So I'd like to hear your perspective on that, the second one. Love doesn't play the victim role or blame others.
Yeah, I think that's really good, not just in intimate relationships, but also relationships that we have with our children.
Yeah.
That came up because now that our children are becoming adults, we can no longer hide behind them.
No, not at all.
As being the authority. Now they can see our own frailties. And it's time for us to take responsibility for the things that they actually can see in us.
What?
And so that's what I'm learning with my adult children.
Come on now.
Right?
I'm with you.
Well, Mom, that you're wrong on here, or you should have did it like this, or whatever. So now I have to take responsibility rather than me putting the responsibility on them.
Yes.
So responsibility, you have to respect
that
other person as well in order to even take responsibility for what it is that you're doing, right?
Or have done.
There you
go.
So yeah, that's a great one.
Ain't that a great one?
Yeah.
I swear, we get rid of that victim mentality. We can say, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
I did do that. You forgive me. When if they don't want to forgive you, they're adults now.
Yeah.
They have a right to not forgive you.
That's true.
They have a right to say, Dad, you was wrong as hell for that. Or they got a right to say, hey, man, I ain't messing with you no more. They have a right.
They do.
Whether we agree or disagree with that statement, they have a right whether or not they want to deal with you. And then you as a parent,
you have a right as well as they become adults.
And they say, well, hell, there ain't nothing I can do about it. You feel how you feel. I love you at the end of the day. I'm here. When you're ready to talk, I'm here. We good. And then you have to keep moving. So, number 2, great. Can't play a victim at all.
No.
Or blame others.
No.
Man, go on and take responsibility. Did you do it? Hell yeah, I did it. And I did it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So number 3, love includes letting go. Love doesn't equal possessions. Just as the saying goes, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, then it never was yours from the beginning. There is truth to that. Love always people their freedom. Wait a minute. Love, Lord have mercy. My glasses ain't working today, okay? Love allows.
Okay.
Always. I don't know how the hell I got that out of always out of allows,
Always allow.
Always allow. Love allows people their freedom.
Yeah.
Just what we stated before.
Yes.
I'll be glad to touch on this first if you don't mind.
Please do.
I think that right there is so important because you can't stop an individual from being who they are. You can't you can't come at a person with accusations and, you have to let a person have their freedom. When you met them, they was doing it. So if they were doing it when you met them, either you accept them or you don't. It's that simple. It's that simple. It really is. Just what we were saying before, if I married my husband or my wife, and my wife, say for instance, if my wife smoked weed, and my wife smoke cigars or cigarettes or whatever. I'm just throwing out some stuff. And there were certain things that my wife was doing when I met her. Then quite naturally, she gonna still be doing them.
Yeah.
Not unless she changes on her own.
Exactly.
It's not my job to change her. That's something between her and the universe and the creator. You know, if she wants to change, she will. But it's not my job to say, hey, you better put that down or this right here. You know, I can say, well, you know, baby, you might want to. And she might say, boy, you better get the hell on out. You know, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm grown. I'm good and grown. Mm-hmm. That part right there. You got to let them be free. My wife has been an entertainer now for almost 30-some years. She travels quite a bit. I can't come home and say, hey, stop. Well, first of all, I'm not going to do that because that's bringing money in the house. So, hell no. Go ahead. Make your money. I'll see you when you get back, honey.
Yeah.
I love you. And I go sometimes, but I've seen the shows a million times. So, I know what's up. Mm-hmm. Databomb.com. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I said that. So, it's important for people to be themselves because you want the best out of your partner. You want a well-rounded individual. And I'm speaking from experience. You know, I've been in some relationships where I haven't been the best. And I have also been the person that's been on the back end of something that I did to somebody else in the past and then turned around and, you know, you reap what you sow. Yeah. You sow what you reap. You know what I'm saying? But that's not to be hard on myself or diminish Chris at all, but it's just saying what comes around goes around a lot of times. You know, it's circle of life. It's what happens to us sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I would never, ever stop anybody from being who they are. And I think that's so important. Love includes letting go and letting go when it's not good, too. Yeah. And maybe you want to talk about that part, especially as it pertains to abuse, mental, physical, verbal. Yeah. List goes on and on. It's so many. It's a lot to that. It's a lot of layers to love includes letting go. It's a lot to that, you know. Letting a person be free in who they are as a person, you know, as an individual. They got certain talents and gifts that they like, but also, you know, even from the abuse standpoint, I don't think you stay in an abusive relationship. I wouldn't think that would be a good idea. No. To do that for no one. You know when you're being treated bad. You know. Exactly. And you know what? That goes across the board, business.
That's right.
Because there can be toxic friendships that can be toxic in relationships too. Just a regular friend. Male, female can be just a friendship, but it can be toxic too. Exactly. So it's a lot to this.
It's a lot. I think that accepting people for who they are. Yeah. Is number one, in my opinion, when it comes to relationships, because so many times people want a relationship to represent them. You know, I want you to make me look good. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And the moment you do something that I feel doesn't make me look good, then I need to trade you in.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
That's true.
And I think that comes with a lot of judgment, and that's going to bind love. It's not going to feed love, right? No, it's going to bind it up. Yeah. And I think we just have a hard time with that. And I think religion plays a major role in that. And doesn't always foster relationships. You know, people will forego the relationship if it doesn't look a certain way. And what people don't realize is that acceptance and that love, like I needed to have for that plant, is what will actually allow that plant to grow and eventually represent what I want it to represent. If I accept it for where it is at that point, Good you point. Know, so if even a plant or animal can feel that, so imagine what people can feel on that if you're not accepting them for who they are. Yeah,
that's even more of a hard blow. Yeah, for most humans.
And parents not accepting their children. Yeah. Parents not accepting their children, I think, is part of why children grow up and don't accept their lovers and their spouses,
Oh, yeah, that's real good. That's real good. That's right. Because we have a responsibility, too.
Mm-hmm.
We have to love our children. Whether we agree with the decisions that they make for their life, we still have to love them, even in spite of.
Yeah.
You can teach, but they may not. They may not go
get it right now.
They may not go the way you think they should go either. Sometimes they do something different. Great point. Yeah, Candi. So number 4 says love doesn't require you to continue a relationship. I guess that's kind of a piggyback off of love includes letting go too, because letting go could be a ton of things, But love doesn't require you to continue a relationship. And I think we kind of touched on that, but I'll read this. You may love someone very much, but you may not be compatible with them, or they may drive you crazy with their continued disregard for your feelings. You can still love them, but that doesn't mean you have to be with them. Love doesn't mean that you have to stay and stay and stay. You can leave the relationship and love them anyway.
Yep, sure can. So
love doesn't require you to continue a relationship. And again, this comes from lifehack.org. These are questions. These are steps that Dr. Carol Morgan has come up with. She's the owner of hersidehisSide.com. So you can visit that. And that's 17 lessons love has taught us. And we're going to keep moving on. We're going to go to number 5. I love this one right here. Love has no room for jealousy.
Yeah.
Like possession, jealousy doesn't equal love. We think that if we're not jealous of our loved ones, that it means that we do not love them. True love has confidence in the quality of the relationship. It knows that the other person is happy and content coming back to you and only you. So love has no room for jealousy. Have you ever been with a possessive person?
Yes.
Very possessive?
Yes.
Yeah, I have
very
too.
Miserable.
Yeah, I have too. I've been a very jealous person.
And there's nothing you can do to please them.
No.
Yeah.
You're never going to please them.
No.
They always want more. I don't care. It's never enough.
Never enough.
And you can do all that you can. And they will find something in there to say,
you should have done this.
You should have done this. Mm-hmm. You should have done that. Instead of being grateful for what it is that, and it can go both ways, male, female relationships, any relationships.
Any.
So get away from jealousy. If jealousy is there, that ain't love. If every 5 minutes your man or your woman saying, where the hell you going?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I tell you? Get away real quick. That's finna go south. Because I ain't trying to control you. I ain't trying to be jealous. That should be the furthest thing from your mind. You got a million things to worry about in this world. And worrying about what your partner is doing should be the furthest from your mind, if you vest it like that, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead. Jealousy.
I just like what it said when it said you should have trust in the quality of your relationships, or confidence. Boom. You should have confidence in the quality of your relationship.
That part right there.
Yeah. If you don't have confidence in the quality of your relationship, then it looks to me we need to have a different discussion. Not about what I'm doing.
Yes.
But if you don't have confidence in the quality of our relationship, we need to either address what it is, and sometimes people can't put their finger on it.
No, they can't.
Sometimes it's something within that person.
I agree.
And sometimes it may be just the chemistry in the relationship is not vibing. Right?
Yes. So I totally agree with you on that.
Not having confidence in the quality of the relationship stuck out to me.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So love has no room for jealousy. That was number 5. So we're going to keep moving. Number 6, love is the absence of fear, which you stated earlier. You said that earlier, you know. You can put all emotions on one end. You have love, then appreciation. After that, it's joy, happiness, contentment, and satisfaction. On the opposite end of love is fear. Other fear-based emotions included hatred, insecurity, jealousy, and greed, which takes us back to 5. You ain't gonna never satisfy that person.
Yeah.
It's always going to be something there that they are not happy with.
Yeah.
And hatred, when you with a partner and a partner that hates you, that's a scary place to be in.
Or a friend that hates you.
Or a friend that hates you, yeah.
I've experienced that more than anything.
Really?
Yeah, man. Friends, it's amazing when you can be friends with somebody since kindergarten or grade school. And you rolling together. Ain't never done nothing. Ain't never had a falling out. But that person is just...
They turn around and
jealous and they hate you. And you like, what in the world? And
what
if you ask them what you did, they cannot tell you.
Yeah, that's scary.
It's very scary. I'm out.
Man, what are you know?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm good.
Who was
I ain't even going to try to resolve it.
I know, right? What was the movie? You remember the movie Selena?
Yeah.
Scary, right?
That very.
And I think that was a true story.
It was.
I think that was a true story.
Yeah, she trusted that lady. And that
trusted
lady
her.
Was she ended up being just a very obsessed
She was very
person.
obsessed with her.
And I think we overlooked.
She was fine. I'm just saying.
Selena was very beautiful. But I think that people can be so addicted again.
Oh, absolutely.
To who you are, your energy, and they just want to suck that right out of you.
Man, talk about it.
You know,
ain't that the truth?
That's and in the beginning it looks like love, but no.
Yeah,
it's actually a mixture of hatred and jealousy and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Condolences go out to Selena and her family.
Yeah,
awesome individual, great singer, great entertainer.
Very.
Latino community, shout out to y'all out there. So yeah, that was number 6. Love is the absence of fear. We're going to keep it moving. Number 7, remember you can go back to lifehack.org and check out these 17 lessons love has taught us. And again, this is from Dr. Carol Morgan. She is the owner of HerSide.com. Write that check, Dr. Carol. So love, number 7. And number 7 is love is not needing and wanting. One of the things we try, and you know what, this is going into the kids right here. This is in the area where I think so far as parents is concerned, us as parents, one of the things we try to teach kids is there is a clear difference between a want and a need. Needing someone is a feeling based in fear. You fear that you can't live without them, so you need them. And remember, fear is the opposite of love. Wanting someone in your life gives them the freedom to leave, but still shows them you love them.
Yes.
Yeah. Just as you stated earlier, you made a valid point on that. Love is not needing and wanting. Could you elaborate a little bit more? Could you speak on that?
Yeah.
Even though I think you did earlier, though, didn't you?
I don't know. I probably did.
I know we done talked about so much.
We talked about a lot even before we started recording.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you know what I noticed? People look for you to be empty.
Yeah.
And when you really come home to yourself and you don't have that feeling of emptiness and you really just want to share that with someone else.
Yeah.
people don't know where they fit in, and they're actually, I wouldn't say intimidated by it, but they don't know where to insert themselves.
Gotcha.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the feeling of not needing or wanting, but just being.
Yeah.
And you like, just come sit with me.
Mm.
You don't have to really do all this stuff. I don't care what you have.
Right.
I don't care where you've been.
Mm.
All I want to know is, can you just be?
Mm.
Are you comfortable with that without hiding behind what you do?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when you'll be surprised how many people are very uncomfortable with that, because they have these props.
Yeah.
And they're ready for people who have a need to have a status symbol,
right,
or a need to feel all of this jealousy and hatred and love. I call it heat, white heat. You know, they want to feel the heat.
Yeah.
They think it's very passionate, because if you crazy, the sex is good, right? If you off the chain, if you got these deep-seated needs to wring somebody out, that can actually cause these addictions that people are attracted to, like a moth to a flame.
Yes.
Can you feel my desire?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right on. Yes.
And so we all have to get out of this addiction phase so we can get to the love.
That's right.
Because love is quite boring.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's boring.
It is.
But all that other stuff is exciting.
It is.
Right? But it's not sustainable.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So when you have already done all that work outside of the relationship, and then you meet somebody and they looking in your eyes for this flaw, this fracture, this need, this yearning.
Yeah.
And they don't see it, they're a little bit afraid of it.
Absolutely.
Because they can't figure it out.
Can't figure it out. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we have to get comfortable with healthy and with emotional wellness. Because when you run up on somebody that's emotionally well and mentally healthy, that's what that looks like.
That's what it looks like. That's right.
And that means you need to get your ass in your seat and drive your car. And then y'all, sit down somewhere and enjoy the health and wellness of a whole person.
Listen, man. And I love the way you just said that. And you know what's so crazy? Maybe not all men, but a lot of men have been guilty of dealing with someone who is insane, for a better word, and the sex was crazy. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's a lot of facts to that. And to what you said, it's when somebody is mentally unstable, then the sex is going to be through the damn roof. I don't even want to talk about it, but you find yourself stuck in some darn situation. You be like, that mofo crazy.
Yeah.
But they do everything you want them to do when it comes to that bedroom.
Yeah.
There's a different side to that individual. It's true. I used to hear my uncles and old school cats that I talked to. They used to be like, yeah, I'm crazy though.
Yeah.
She crazy though. You might have a good time with her laying in that hay in that bed. You're gonna enjoy yourself. But boy, it's something that's gonna come on the back end of that you ain't ready for.
Are you really?
Yeah,
I know in
that's
astrology,
facts.
when you think about astrology, Mars rules sex and it rules war.
And everybody want to go to Mars. I don't want to go to Mars.
Mars rules sex and war. So the same planet rules both of those energies. So when you're thinking about sex and war, love and war, or sex and war, I won't say love because Venus rules love. Mm-hmm. But if you think about sex and war, that's what rules the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And, on the underground, we run in sex. And on the above ground, we're running war.
Yeah.
And that is all about the blood that runs through our veins.
That's so
because
true.
Mars also rules the blood that runs through our veins. This is without, for those who don't know, I'm an astrologist.
Yes.
But,
right.
when you are able to look at energies,
Yeah.
you understand what's running them.
Yeah.
So when you run into it where the sex is just amazing, but it's followed by this craziness,
Yeah.
then you want to look at possible murder, violence, destruction, abuse. That doesn't sound that appealing to me, right?
Yeah, no, not at all. And
Right.
you know, it's so crazy. We hear more about, well, no, I won't say that. I think it's a balance in that with men and women going through relationships like that. They get attached to a person that's mentally unstable, but the sex is so crazy till sometimes they find themselves being drawn in by the sex. They may even have a nice shape, a nice body. They may even have everything that you want. But on the other end of that, it's bad business on the other end. They're gonna tear up some stuff.
Yeah. If you got it going on and you have sex like a crazy person, that's the jackpot.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So you can look for that. That's possible to have crazy sex with a sane person. It's all good.
Yeah.
We don't have to have great sex with abuse.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We don't
Yes,
have to
that's
have
good.
that.
That's good, Candi. Yes. I agree with you.
I hope I didn't get off.
No. This is good. This is good. Again, we're talking about, we're talking about 17 lessons love has taught us, So this is good stuff. I think there are going to be a lot of folks that can be a benefactor of this, man, So I'm glad we're doing it. Love is an action, not just a feeling. And that's so true. The feelings have to go away when it comes to love.
Yeah.
It's not, boy, we can get caught up sometimes in our feelings. It's easy to do.
Yep.
It's easy to do. And that's where I've said it many times on this platform, how to love the unlovable. And your feelings just literally have to go away.
Right.
They literally do. I know, right? We all got to work on it. Trust me. Like, you be like, man, but God darn. It's work. So humans tend to be addicted to intense emotions. That's what we did. Yeah. Especially when it feels good. So when we're in love, we want to feel that way forever. But guess what? That higher than cloud 9 feeling goes away after a while. That's true.
Yeah.
So that lets all of us know that even no matter what kind of relationship you're in, as it pertains to marriage, you're going to have some dark days. Marriage can be dark at times. Marriage can be dark at times. So so love is an action, not just a feeling. Number 9, love is unconditional. The word unconditional means that there are no expectations or limitations set. Just what we kind of said earlier. So love is unconditional. Number 10, and we're going to keep it moving right along. Love means putting other people's needs equal to or before your own. While people may be inherently selfish for survival purposes, this does not serve us well in relationships. If you don't put other people's needs at least equal to your own, they will grow resentful. Real love truly, genuinely cares about other people's happiness and will go to great lengths to make people feel valued. So, not much to say on that one, is it? Okay, we'll keep going. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Number 11. Love is the highest vibration emotion that there is. And I totally agree with that. Science has proven that emotions like love and fear have very different vibrations. They can actually measure them. Love vibrates very fast, Whereas fear-based emotions, think jealousy, possessiveness, hatred, greed, etc. The list goes on and on. Vibrate very slowly. When you love completely and unconditionally, there is no fear involved. The vibrations of love make you feel good all the time. I feel good. I feel good all over. Right?
That's right.
Yes, number 11. Let's go to number 12. Love is focusing on quality, not quantity. Love focuses on the quality of your relationship, not its longeviness, not its longevity. Yeah, excuse me. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, it's better to have love and loss than to never have loved at all. And again, you can go back and read all of this. Number 13, love requires attention. Love does not ignore. It doesn't look the other way. I don't even see it.
I don't even see it. Yeah. Walking past my plant for a whole week and think it's gonna live.
Oh wow, we all got to work on it. Boy, we do. There's some areas, but I love that metaphorically the way you explain the caring for the plant. Now that was a great way to explain it. So, number 13. That's number 13. Love requires attention, and we all got to work on this. So remember, as we talk to you, we talk to ourselves. We're not acting as if we perfected everything.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because we haven't. This is just information that we want to share with everybody. And you'll hear me say certain things biblically. No, I'm not a theologian. I'm not a scholar. But, Paul said it the best. I have not apprehended. So I don't know it all. I still got thorns in my side that I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? But we want to at least give you this resource in hopes that it will help you become better and grow. So number 14, love understands and accepts differences. And we all are different. Let's face it. We all are different. Even identical twins aren't exactly the same.
Right.
So that's number 14. You want to elaborate? Keep going.
We can come back.
Okay.
We'll circle back around.
Okay.
If we have time.
Love varies in how it is expressed and accepted. What makes us feel loved varies. In the book of the 5 languages by Gary Chapman. Y'all make sure y'all go check that out. Have you read it?
I was just going to say that those love languages, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
When you said that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. That's by Gary Chapman. That's the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. Write that check, Gary Chapman. He explains the different ways people give and receive love. Number 1, words. Number 2, acts of service, giving gifts, spending time together. Number 5, touch. It's important to discover other people's love language so you can understand each other and give love in a way that let me start over again, y'all. Forgive me. And give love in a way that the other person recognizes it.
Right.
It's number 15. Number 16, love makes you feel good, not bad. Many people confuse being in a relationship with love. Exactly. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean there is true love present.
Right.
If there's jealousy, possessiveness, constant fighting, abuse, verbal, emotional, and physical.
Yeah.
She put emphasis on that. That is not love, but I think we all know that. So refer back to number 6. Those are fear-based emotions and actions. All right. Number 17, love has empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself into another person's shoes and see situations from his or her point of view. Love has deep empathy. When you hurt, I hurt. People who truly love one another don't want to hurt them. They want to feel good. They care about their feelings and try everything they can to make them feel valued and worthy. Remember, in closing, remember this for the 17. Remember, love is happiness, appreciation, and feeling good. Anything other than that is not love. If we all loved one another as ourselves, the world will be a better place.
Yes.
And those were the 17 lessons love has taught us. And again, that was from lifehack.org. Please visit that website. A lot of great things on there. It's a blog on there. It's pretty nice. And again, those 17 lessons love has taught us is by Carol Morgan. That's Dr. Carol Morgan, who's the owner of hersidehisSide.com. She is a communication professor, dating and relationship coach. She's a TV personality, speaker, and author. So check that out on lifehack.org. 17 lessons love has taught us. And excuse me, when we talked about this earlier, we wanted to do this because, these are just things that we feel can enhance our world, enhance our communities, enhance us just as a people, and this conversation can go for all of us, whether you're in a relationship, friendship, business owner. All of these lessons can be, taken in a setting of business, home, family, community. These are just, and these were simple things.
They are things that but remember when we were on the last show, and I was talking about desire and discipline. You've got to have the desire.
Yes.
For the same thing if you're going to be a couple or if you're going to be a group working together. Right?
I agree.
You have to have the desire for something. And then you have to have the discipline to carry that out.
Yeah.
And what you read, that list, all requires discipline because our minds can get away from us once we get fixated on our needs.
Yeah.
And keeping the other person first keeps you from sinking into those things that you want.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
And it's not that you don't ever think about yourself. You can wake up in the first 5 minutes and say, this is the kind of day I'm going to have.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to achieve.
Yeah.
But baby, what do you need?
Yeah.
Right? And you can still keep your needs actually first.
Yeah.
Underneath all of that.
Yeah.
And still take care of everybody else. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I hope you guys have heard something today that could just literally, just in a literal sense. And these are just simple things that, again, as Candi stated earlier, it's going to require a great deal of discipline. As we were discussing earlier, these are 17 lessons love has taught us. And listen, again, we like to keep it real here and be as honest, as transparent as we can without divulging too much information to you guys. But, just, to prick your conscience, to prick your mind, to give a thought before we so quickly judge others. We can hear something that can say, oh, I missed it here. Because again, we don't know it all. We don't claim to know it all, but we all have had experiences and different things that we've gone through in our life. And, some wisdom attached itself to you along the way. Even, there's some areas that you may not have grown in, but, you still, you learn to do things a little differently. So hopefully 17 lessons love has taught us. Man, again, we really do appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Ross Cloud Podcast. That's Ross Cloud Podcast at Ross. I think it's Ross Cloud Experience. Don't hold me to that, but just go to Ross Cloud Podcast on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram and check us out. Again, thank you so much. And make sure you guys follow Candi T.Jeter. She's an author. Make sure y'all go get that book. Go get that book. If you scroll down on the Ross Cloud Podcast, you can definitely see her book. I don't remember the title, but I'm going to let her give her book again. Can you give them the title of your book and how they can follow you again, Candi?
How to Let Go Even When It Seems Impossible. 7 Steps to learning how to let go even when it seems impossible. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Candi T.Jeter, and you can get the book at www.thelettinggobook.com.
Here it is. So listen, man, I hope you guys continue to tune in and keep it locked and stay tuned. Listen, I'm Car.Ross Sr., and, Femi is not with us on today, but he will be back. He's just not here with us today. So y'all keep it locked and stay tuned. There's more to come from the Ross Cloud Podcast. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.